charge.
Planning and Zoning Commission special meeting to be held today, the 27th at 5:15 is called to order. First item is the invocation. Sean, would you give our invocation portion, please?
Lord, we just thank you for today and all that you do for each and every one of us each and every day. Lord, we just ask that you just be with us, guide and direct us as we do the business of the planning and zoning. Lord, we just thank you so much for your son, Jesus, and most of all, we ask that you forgive us when we fail you, dear Lord. Just love you and just ask that you continue to watch over us, guide and direct us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Next item is pledge. John?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is public comments.
We have two people that have requested. Shannon Phillips with the Louisville Motel. Would you like to make your comment?
I'm new to town. It's very nice to meet everyone. When I first got here a few months ago, I think it was 5 months ago, I got a crack motel, but I've gotten rid of all the drug addicts, all the prostitutes, cleaned it up, and we're ready to be a part of this community. Thank you.
And Cody West.
I'm Cody West. I'm new to town. I've been here in 2011. I've been here for 10 years. I've lived at 204 East 23rd for 10 years. I live directly across the alley from the RV park in question today. I'm not in favor of this property becoming an operational RV park. Only because at one point it was, I guess when it first opened, maybe under previous ownership. At some points in time, there were people camping out in tents in RV spots at that location. There were dogs running around that location. The dumpster was overflowing with stuff from the RV park, all during that time that it was open. I appreciate the investment that the new owners have made and the previous owners as well, but we've invested in our homes too. I think the city is zoned for a reason. Single-family homes being right across the alley, especially there on 23rd Street, are 50 to 70 years old at this point. They've all held up very well. They've all been maintained very well. They've all held their value. Even according to the last tax valuations, they're going up, right, in value. So I kind of feel like that having an RV park directly across the alley from these homes would devalue the property to an extent. But the other part of it is, like I mentioned, just the previous experience we've had with that being open before it was closed was a little bit of a nuisance to those of us that live directly across the alley from it. So I just came today to recommend that you guys, or ask that you recommend to the council just to keep our current zoning laws the same when it pertains to this.
Thank you, guys. I skipped over, consider approval of the minutes of the June 22nd, 21 meeting. Anybody read through those and see any additions or deletions that might need to be made?
A year ago.
A motion by Johnny, second by Lori, that we approve the minutes of June 22nd, 2021 meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next item is public hearing regarding the request for Louisville Motel to open RV spots for daily and weekly traveling workers in the area.
That's the only two people that's requested to comment.
Okay.
You've got a public hearing, so you could, anybody wanted to talk now could talk, even without registering.
Anybody else?
So y'all are saying to open the RV park for workers that are contracting out into Little Filter where?
Well, I think that's the consideration that's before us.
Yes, I was gonna ask if I could speak, because I would like to talk to y'all, because I have seen what, y'all have no clue what I've been dealing with at this place. I have death threats, people outside of my room in the middle of the night, you know, making phone calls threatening me, and people getting all in my face and stuff, but I cleaned that place up. There is no more riffraff, and I tell them, you give me trouble, you're out of here, I'm not playing. And we want to help and become part of this community. We want to be, well, I don't know about the owner, because he's given me full control. But I want to be a part of this community. I want to see it be a good place. And I've been working with the churches here in town to help out, families, wives, husbands, with children, trying to get on their feet and do better things. And seriously, you should see all the people I've run off. And we have taken a big hit. We're getting like $4,000 less every 2 weeks. And I mean, personally, that's just money. In my heart, I want to see this place succeed, and I want to be a part of the community, and I want to make y'all proud, and I want to be your neighbors, and I want everybody to get along. And if you have any trouble at all, you come to me, I'll take care of it. They don't like me very much, but that's okay. They'll love you before it's over with. I've been trying to go through the community, walking my dogs. I got a little pup, and I've been trying to meet the people. And like it said in the document and stuff, I just want to help out the local workers and, the churches and anybody that I can. But that's just what I'm here for. So, boss may want money, but I'm here for the community. So, I hope, it's very nice to meet you. Yeah, I hope we can all work together. And if just on a probationary, that would be better than nothing. Y'all could, whatever y'all decide, I'm willing to work with it. So thank you. That's really all I have to say.
Thank you.
And that's kind of, one thought that I had was that, I understand that the current ownership is trying to, make the place better and get rid of some of the problems they've had in the past. Last spring, I built an 8-foot fence across my backyard for the main reason that we've had to deal with this, that, and the other coming from that property. But I think if you make a change to the zoning laws, at this point, it's going to be a permanent change. And so if ownership should change in the future, let's say they're not making money, they have to sell, and then it goes back to, someone else who doesn't care so much. And we're still stuck next to that property with who knows what. So my point would be that this would be a permanent change for something that could potentially, in the long run, become a problem once again.
I didn't really want to say anything, but I think this is a special use permit that would ask a question, which is actually goes with the property and the
It's
owner.
a variance of that,
And
what that policy currently is.
And it only does, now I may be mistaken, doesn't it only last with the current
It's a-
owners that are there?
It's a zone change.
It's a zone change?
It's permanent.
Zone change?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
So that piece of property, if the
Has
change were
specific
made,
use.
would be from now,
It's not, it doesn't go with the owner, it stays with the property.
But there can be special caveats put onto it.
You can
correct?
put anything you want to on it, as far as specific use goes. If you want, and we can get into that after the public hearing.
okay.
So is there a time frame for these people who are going to be working here, offer the RV park, as far as you can only stay here for a certain amount of
Yes,
time?
ma'am. Yes,
Before,
ma'am.
and I only ask that because we do live right across
Can I answer
from it, and there is an RV that has been there, and he's never given us any problems, but I asked that because of that. He's
Yes,
been
ma'am.
there for almost about 2 years, hasn't moved his RV, and so that's why I'm like, is this gonna be a permanent,
I'll
make
sit over
this
here.
your home, and we'll zone you when we feel like it, or is it really specifically just for you come, you work, you camp out here, and then when you're done, you go back?
Right.
Yes, I was talking to the owner about this because I wanted to be very specific when I came and talked to everybody. And he said it's absolutely for the workers, it's only weekly and daily, there won't be any monthly, because the one gentleman that is there, he works at the local prison, and he's kind of watching over me. I'm all alone out there by myself, so we're very grateful and thankful to have him. He is a good guy. But yeah, it would definitely be weekly.
And then, as far as RV spots and just safety, and I think because our home and how much we've invested, and I don't know if you guys have ever spent the time to put up a fence, but it's not just like cost, out there, it's also all the work that you've had to put in and maintaining it.
That's actually a good idea.
As far-
Fence, I didn't even know that was an option.
As far as for us, that was a lot of money spent, a lot of time spent, and if that RV park is right there, and say somebody tosses a cigarette, things go up in flames, our home is directly right beside it, and that is money that we have spent and are just gonna watch go up in flames because we agreed to allow this RV park to be opened up right there.
But
And there's
anybody
not,
could drive up and down the alley and throw a
you're
cigarette.
absolutely right, you're absolutely right, but it could happen, fires in a motorhome, somebody puts a Scentsy candle up or whatever, and I'm just saying that just because they're so tight together, how easy is it gonna be for a fire truck to go in to see where exactly that fire is, to get up close to it, to see if it's spreading out? And there's just a lot of homes right there that have invested and tried to get their property to increase in value, and it's just gonna
I do
depreciate,
understand that. I do understand that. What if we just used like the first few RV spots and then left the ones close to the homes, like for theirs,
How many
For their-
spots is out there?
8. Mhm.
What's the width
I'm
of the
sorry?
lot?
I'm sorry,
What's the width of the lot?
like how far apart they are?
No, the whole total property, how
Oh.
wide is it?
I'm not sure. I didn't bring the map with me.
Mitch, was that not something
I think there's
in the
is
last?
there not a,
It doesn't show it on the description.
but in the,
But in what we had stated, were there not certain requirements for how
I
much?
think 4 acres is what I can remember. Is that right?
I couldn't find anything on an acreage thing.
Really?
But
I
that
think just be,
brings
I
up,
thought we had something for
Yeah.
the space of them being able to go and,
what we really should do is get past the public hearing and start to work
Okay.
on it. Now,
Okay.
if sometime while while the P and Z board is working on it, if it's fitting to ask a question of somebody in the audience or something like that while you're working on it, that's okay. But probably need to get past the public hearing part and get over to the work session.
okay.
If I could, just one more thing before
You
we
bet.
go. I'm not dead set against it. I just wanted to voice my concerns and what we've experienced in the past, and ultimately, it's your decision. So you guys do what you feel is best for the city, but
98.
just coming from a neighbor, my experiences have not been good when the RV park was in operation.
And
That's
I feel that.
100 by 200,
Yeah, because what
100
I've
wide, 200.
heard since I've been here, oh Lord, y'all wouldn't believe the stuff I've heard since I've been here. I see where you're coming from. Thank you for,
But as a neighbor, have you seen the cleanup? Have you
Yes.
seen totally different?
Yes.
Let's get through, is there anybody else that has anything else to say on the public side of the hearing? And we can interact with you the next round, but anything else? Okay. Then we'll go on, consider and take appropriate action for the recommendations. And so now I think it's, am I correct? It's appropriate?
Yeah, to recap here,
Thank you, Cody.
on what's in front of you, I gave you a memorandum in your packet, and it just basically goes over the process of specific use. And your duty today is to either recommend or recommend denial to the council in the form of a resolution. And you can approve it with stipulations, and I made a list in the memo that's in your packet of some things you may consider as we get started on this. And if you deny it, you just deny it. But if you approve it, you have the option of putting any kind of stipulation you want on it. You could recommend to the council if you want to put an 8-foot fence up. If you want to make them whatever. It would be good if whatever you recommend to the council, if there's a reason for it, you want to substantiate that with some kind of a reason. Now, the things I listed on here are just some basic stuff like we would want to make sure that all of the connections are code compliant and meet current codes. Because this never really had approval. I mean, it was back and forth for years, and we had the attorney study this, and they agree with where we're at right now. It's never had approval, and the process they would go through is to request a specific use zone change. Now, one of the things that comes up is NFPA 1194, their standards for recreational vehicle parks, and they're very comprehensive. And I've looked them over. I don't think anything is just completely out of the question in those regulations, but I think if you do approve this, a recommendation to the council, you should put those stipulations that they meet NFPA 1194, which talks about turnaround areas and all weather surfaces and things like that. So, there could be some more costs involved in the approval for this. Also, I recommend that you would require them to be, certified recreational vehicles and not mobile homes and stuff. So that's one of the requirements. And I know it's been talked about quite a bit about time limits for the patrons that are in there. Frankly, I don't see that as being very enforceable. You might put in there as a stipulation, but how are we going to know? How are we going to be able to stay up with how many days each unit is out there, and how are we going to know, if they've violated some kind of rule? I just don't have the staff to have somebody sitting out there watching it at all times. I'm not saying that we would do it. I'm just saying it as far as the enforcement end of it, we have to enforce it. Plus, any other kind of rules that you wanted to place on an approval recommendation to the council, and that will go in the form of a resolution. So that's my 2 cents worth. So, but I guess it's time for y'all to go to work and discuss it,
So, The last time it was addressed with the zoning board and then that decision was made, has anything been changed to the property for the reasons that it was denied the last time?
And how long ago was that?
Ma'am, let's let them talk.
Yeah.
They're working now.
Sorry.
Okay, all right. Well, your question was if anything's changed since it was denied at the zoning board.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't here when that came up at the zoning board. You may know more than me, but since I've been here, I haven't seen any changes as far as that part goes. Like Shannon stated earlier, the motel over there, which is not part of this, has really been cleaned up in the last year or so,
Yeah.
since the new owners.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Right.
My concern comes in on kind of the spacing issue. I mean, coming off of that access road, getting into there, but then the length to turn around. I'm not sure that it's, I'm economic wise, to me, maybe two or three trailers is about all you could really reasonably get in there, and is it worth it? I guess is my point.
And is
I'm for that, I know Sudan's got one, I think it's great. I just think it
Sudan's
takes
also-
time, it takes size.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was
it's a bigger
built,
spot. Yeah.
Done the right way. You guys have bought something that was put in and was poorly done, and I just, yeah.
What if we only used like half of them, 4, and did like every other one?
I still don't think you would meet the 1194 standards for a recreational vehicle park. And I don't know what those standards are, but I bet we wouldn't meet them.
I think you'd have some problems, and I've talked to the fire chief about it. I think you'd have some problems with the turnaround.
What's the fire chief's opinion? if he has to go out there and
The
take
few
care of
times I've talked to him about it, he would be concerned with access in and out. And, you know, you get one trailer on fire, you don't be able to get one of them out. You know, that was the fire chief's concern. And there's, that NFPA 1194 is probably 20 or 30 pages long, and there's a lot of stuff in there. And I think the congestion is a kind of concern
I
with
like
the
the size
chief,
issue,
fire
not
chief.
what it is, but the size of position.
Agreed.
What do you think, John?
And I'm agreeing with you too as well. So, and I know that you got the land and already bought and nothing to widen it, make it bigger, and even if you do two, it still probably wouldn't, so, I don't know, sounds like the size of it right now is gonna be the problem. So,
John, you have anything else?
No, I don't think it's worth us changing the zoning on it and then opening up that door for other possibilities later on. Just not a good thing for us to do, I don't think.
I will agree with you on one thing, I mean, I'm for something,
Yeah.
but, something that's gonna work.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you have, I live across and see it quite often. Y'all have done a lot of stuff. From where it was a year or two ago.
I'm trying, I promise.
Well, and I applaud that.
I do
Yeah, the
too.
death threats alone, I thank you for, okay?
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you,
Oh, I
that's
know.
some bad
And
people.
I've seen it come in and out of there, so.
Yeah, they call me in the middle of the night giggling and laughing, just waking me up because they know I like sleeping.
So just driving by, I mean, I can see even the park is clean.
I walk around with my puppy dogs and 3 times a day cleaning that place. I pick up trash and I want everybody in the neighborhood to know I'm here and I'm here to make this world a better place.
Good.
One person at a time. I'm helping the families in the neighborhood, getting to know all the church people, trying to shine my love.
We appreciate you.
I have to agree with them. Working in the DA's office, we've seen some improvements from what's come out of there, and so we applaud your efforts, as everybody else has said. I think that what you've gotten though, I think you're gonna have to build on what the motel is and building up your clientele there.
Yes.
I think as far as the RV and meeting the requirements that are gonna be needed for that amount of space, it's not gonna be doable according to what we need.
Okay.
We're all for it, we're all for something of that type of a business, and definitely, I live right across the street from the free RV park that's over on 385, but the requirements that are needed, I just don't think you have it with the property that's there.
Okay, well, can I please request one thing? Because when y'all was talking, y'all did say that you didn't know for sure the numbers. Can we maybe check them and make sure just how much?
There's 7. There's 7 spaces.
Huh?
There's 7 spaces.
8
Well, 7 pedestals,
on the, yes, but I was trying.
7 electrical pedestals.
Yes.
She's talking about the turning space.
Yeah, the
She's talking about
she's talking
11.
about all the
How much
requirements.
She's talking about
room we need.
1194.
Yeah, y'all weren't sure on that exactly, so I was wondering if we could do a little more research on that, just in case that does help with this.
Well, what we could do, if you like, is we can sit down at the drawing board and see what kind of configuration that y'all can come up with, maybe with some minor changes, rearrangements, and see if we can come up with something to bring back later for another request. I think there is a waiting period though, so
I'm just gonna throw this out, because it's just my opinion, maybe my only opinion, but I don't see it either way. I just think you're landlocked between your motel and what's to the east of you. I just don't think there's enough room there to adequately do what you need to do. And that's my opinion. So I'm probably, wherever we go, I'm probably, and I don't mean this bad, but I'm probably just gonna
That's why I
disagree.
that's why I was wanting to see if we could do a little more research in
And-
that area.
And if everybody's good with that, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just stating.
I just
Or
wanted
I-
to see what all we can do as much as possible.
Yeah, I just don't want to lead you on to a point to say,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just me,
Okay, thank you.
bet.
How have they gotten in there before? How have they gotten in and out before?
I don't know, how did they get them in and out before?
Because they've had several there over the years. How they get them in and out, there wasn't enough room.
Does
Well,
he-
this y'all's meeting, y'all.
Do we want to,
Corrected.
do we need to vote on what
Yeah,
we're gonna do?
I think you need to
So at
vote.
this point then, you know, I guess what you've mentioned is possibly go back and look at that, review, so it, whatever we four want to do,
Well,
give me your thoughts.
yeah, I think you need to make a decision of whether you're gonna
Right.
recommend or not tonight. I don't think, there's not a tabling thing you can do. You're
Okay.
gonna have to either
Okay.
recommend with certain stipulations or deny it, one or the other.
Okay.
I make a motion that we, deny until we, get the information.
I'll second.
Okay, so we've got a motion to deny the request, by Johnny, seconded by Sean. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. So, I appreciate your time, I really do. And I appreciate what you've done
Thank you.
and continue to do.
So what do we do now?
Well, bring Koal in and we'll talk about different options of things going forward. You know, there may be some other ideas that you can use to, you know, to get some income off that property or be some ideas. And I like Koal to him come in and drink a cup of coffee and we'll figure out where to go from here.
Okay.
All right.
All right? Have any other
Thank
business?
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
We stand adjourned at 5:43.